Hello, my name is Carey-Lyn and I'm part of the Musicplay team. Today I'm here to run through a really quick overview of what we have in store for Pre-K Lesson 6, October Week 2. Let's start at the home page. So you have two options. You can jump right into learning modules, and see all the other grades and pick what you want. So we would want Pre-K Lesson 6, which is way down here. So we could pick that. Or we could go through the pre-K only area. So if you come back over to Musicplay Online, explore by grade, pre-K. The reason why I'm showing you this way is because we have actually a lot more than just what you see in the learning module for pre-K. As I'm going through the next couple weeks, as I'm doing these edits and updates, you'll see a couple more ideas and everything show up and with the updates. And that's because I'm using the pre-K year plan and the month outlines to guide what I'm writing. If you take a look here at the pre-K year plan and you just take a quick little look, you'll see that it's actually divided in lessons. So lesson 6 is focused on fast and slow. We've got spiders and fall. We talk about these songs, and then maybe we review some other songs, and we have some specific skills that we're looking for to develop. This is different than the other grades. The other grades are a little bit more general, whereas pre-K is a little bit more directive. Another thing that I wanted to show you here is the model lessons. Denise went in and taught in a pre-K classroom for the entire development of this program. This is only the fall. There are two other books, winter and spring, that you will see as we continue these together. But if you wanted to take a look and see what she did to build her lesson, I would highly recommend coming over, grabbing some popcorn, and watching October Week 2. This is a 30-minute lesson with Denise in a Montessori classroom. And yeah, it kind of gives you a really quick overview of what we're about to do, but online. Alrighty, let's jump into it. Learning modules, let's do it. Lesson 6. Okay. First things first, this list is a numbered list. You'll notice that it's numbered 1 through 19. That's because there are 19 teaching procedures. Every single procedure is a number on here so that it gives you the ability to quickly look through and see, is this right for me? Is this not right for me? Musicplay is a menu. You are the one who knows what works best in your classroom. You are the expert here. So please pick the things that work for you and that your students will find success in, and they'll think it's fun, and then other things that maybe it's okay to leave for this year, or maybe for next year, or maybe forever. So we offer an option. Please adjust to what works for you. If you're loving half of it, not loving the other half, or even just want to do a couple little tiny changes here and there, come up and copy it to my list, okay? When you copy it to my list, it makes it your own version, so you can do whatever you want. It's not affecting anyone else's, just yours. So definitely take advantage of that. Alrighty, we're going to scroll down here. Whenever you see extensions, that just means that I wasn't able to add the last something from the song list. There are so many songs in Musicplay. As I said, it's a menu, and I just want to make sure that you still know that there are extensions available if you run out of everything else and you still want to keep music with your class. So that is the option there. Alrighty, we are going to just roll right through. So we're going to start at number 1, sing time for music. That's our welcome and counting beats from your left to your right. Remember that we are working on crossing the midline with the littles, so this is a really good beat pointing activity, but also movement, right? If you want more printables, more activities, more suggestions, more thoughts, definitely jump into the song used, Time for Music. This link will bring you directly to the song and all of its components, so definitely take a look at that. Okay, scrolling on through. Echo the slide whistle. Again, if you have your own slide whistle, do this yourself. If you don't, use Denise's example. The slide whistle, you're just mimicking vocally what the slide whistle is doing. So if the slide whistle goes, "Ew," how is your voice going? Is it going, "Woo"? woo! You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that is the slide whistle. If you're looking for other warm-ups, this button is right here for you. So definitely click and go and check out other warm-ups. We're going to warm up to the beat as well. So moving to the beat, follow Denise. Again, you can do this with any piece of music that you want and just have the students follow you on the beat. But again, Denise does a great job. So if you're happy with that, click on through. Okay, now we come to our first song. So we're going to sing and move to Hey Everybody. So we're going to move to the music the way the words suggest. It's very clear. And it's a great little energizer song, so it's great. And now we're going to do a finger play, slowly, quickly. This is the core concept for this lesson is fast and slow. And the idea is that you're walking your little fingers up your leg, which is very cute. If you want to see what it looks like in the classroom, Denise, we did pull that out and from the model lessons that I just showed you. So you can see what she does with the finger play slowly, quickly, and how the students react to it. And now we move to Eensy Wincy Spider. So the interesting thing about this song is that we have a whole bunch of different kinds of spiders. We have regular spiders, we have great big spiders, and then we have teeny tiny spiders. So how does the voice change? Where does who has the low voice? Who has the high voice? So we're starting to work on high and low and different types of voices as well. Alrighty, so we can go right through. There's also some movement and some finger play with Eensy Weensy Spider. Again, another way to just make the song a little bit more fun. Yeah, all the spiders are finding places in our homes, at least up in Red Deer, Alberta, starting to get a little bit cold, so they're all scurrying and trying to find our little nooks and crannies into our house. So that is really fun. Anyway, moving on. Listen to Dancing Dog Story. Dana does a great job reading this story. Again, if you want to read this story to your students, head on over to D Dancing Dog, D Dance Doggy, apparently. And the story is available for you to read. And if you will find that more engaging. So that is great. We also learned the letter D. So this letter D song is working on the consonant letter D. We also have a practice printing the letter D and naming things that start with D. I didn't bring the alphabet action booklet. Nope, I did not bring it. I'll bring it next week and to show you, but this is a really good way to starting to work on the letters and everything. And see down here on page 2 is tracing, and page 3 is tracing and then going a little wild. And then drawing 2 pictures that start with the letter D. So it could be dinosaur and dragons or something. For some reason, all I could think of was daikon. Interesting. Anyway, so now we go to Sing It, Dance Doggy, which is the song associated with the story, the dog story, and then also the letter D. And the activity is making up movement to this song. So that is great. You can see how the kids create movement here with Denise. There it is an action song, so you don't have to just create movement. You can actually go and follow the actions. If you're looking for written actions, definitely jump into the teacher notes in the song, and those will all be written out for you. Alrighty, now we're moving into a little bit more listening. So which sounds are fast and which are slow? Dance Doggy Dance definitely was faster, so it gives us an opportunity to listen and indicate what is fast and what is slow. This is a video, This is a video. There is a projectable slide available on the song page if you would prefer that, where you have the song, that you have the picture, and then you play the sound, and then you ask the class, fast or slow, and then you can go through it that way. If you want to do it the video way, that works too. This is the option that was provided. Here we review open shut them, and you can watch the teacher demo to see how it's done. And again, you can go and check out more information. Again, all that information is actually available in the printed teacher guide as well. If you prefer it, all this is on Musicplay Online. If you prefer it written in your hands and in a linear format, this is the way to go. But if you're happy with the Musicplay Online, we are happy to. So this is also another option to create more verses, but this is just reviewing the open shut them song, moving the hands a little bit again. We are reviewing letter T once more, and doing a little bit of turkey tango. This is probably one of my favorite action songs. Who doesn't love a good tango, you know? Watch the kids demo and then definitely do it yourself. We have a little bit of fall coming in here, so reviewing the song Fall Leaves and moving with the scarf. It's beautiful with the scarf. And this is the only option, so if you want to see the kids demo or you want to do the kids demo, definitely head over into the song and watch the kids demo there. And then finally, we close the lesson with Skinamarink. I hope that gave you a quick overview of what's in Pre-K Lesson 6, October Week 2. October Week 2, Lesson 6 for Musicplay Kindergarten. Yay! So I'm going to start on the front page of Musicplay Online. You have two options here. You can either go into the learning module and see all the other grades for learning modules. Excuse me. Kindergarten Lesson 6 is way down here, recently updated by yours truly. If you don't want to see all of these other grades, you're always welcome to filter by grade. But if you want to see everything kindergarten related, come back to the homepage, explore by grade, click on kindergarten, boom, you got it all right here. Everything that is in this book is on Musicplay Online. I personally really like using printed materials because it kind of gives me a timeline and a little bit more forward structure, whereas being online can be a little bit overwhelming because there's just so much, you know? So that's why I use that, and this is what I will be using as I update learning modules going forward. Alrighty, so just to give you an idea, this is the kindergarten year plan. So if you were to open this link, you would see this PDF. It is backwards, so let's see if I can just make that forwards. Okay, here we are. Alrighty, so my goal is to hit all of these concepts, activities, and themes for October in all of our lessons. For October, obviously. I've said it 100 times. There are 5 October lessons. And we have some beat and rhythm, expression, melody, harmony, listening, creating, all this good stuff. So if you want to have an idea of how I'll be updating these learning modules, this is the place to come, because I am using this list as my guiding North Star. If you want a little bit more detail, I would recommend going into month outlines. So if you click on the month outlines, copy link, well, if you just click on the button, it will actually open for you, but I don't want to mess up my tabs. Anyway, so the month outline looks like this. So you'll see it's kind of broken out differently than other grades, and we have received requests to make this for other grades, and it is still being worked on. So October, if you want to have an idea of where I'm going, this is where I am going. Alrighty, that being said, let's jump into it. Learning modules, kindergarten, lesson 6. Okay, first and foremost, what you're going to see is a big, long list. It's a numbered list. And you'll notice that each number corresponds to each teaching procedure. I did this so that you have a really easy and fast way to see, is this lesson the right lesson for me? If it isn't, that's totally good. We have so much more. If 50% works, great. Come over here, click on copy to my list, and put it into your my list. That way, any of the changes that you make will be for you and your class alone. Musicplay is a menu. Only you have the experience and the expertise of what your classroom is like, who your students are, What will they find success in, and where do they maybe need a little bit more support? We have so many resources on Musicplay Online, but at the end of the day, it's impossible to get through them all. This book itself, look at how big. It's massive. It's bigger than my finger. Too much to go through. So pick and choose what works for you. Alrighty, let's jump back into this lesson. So in this lesson, we see all these little numbered lists, grade, extensions. Excuse me. Extensions is anything that I haven't been able to cover. In this case, we cook turkey. It's Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, which I'm really excited about. I get to eat lots of food, but maybe that's not right for you. Maybe you celebrate Thanksgiving next month or in a totally different time of year. I'm not sure. Put those songs where it actually works for your context. And that's what I'm talking about with the menu, right? Okie dokie, let's continue on. So we're going to start with singing the echoes in Welcome to School. Easy. We've been doing it for the last couple weeks. And now we're going to jump into the song Hey, Hey, Look at Me. So Christy and Lisa do a great job with this kids demo. And so I would watch and listen and see what they're doing, because the next activity, we're going to make up our own movements. So this is a great place to create your own verses, especially because you're connecting it with movement, If you want more ideas, more suggestions, and you're just loving it, or you're looking for something different, this link right here, song used, Hey, Hey, Look at Me. That's the link that you're going to want to click, and it will bring you to your song list. And the song list, Hey, Hey, Look at Me, that's a song in the song list, of course. And that has all your information, all of this stuff. Anything that is mentioned in here will be on that page. So definitely check it out. Alrighty, so we're going to make some movements, and now we're going to review Autumn Leaves. Autumn Leaves was introduced, I believe it was last week, and it is autumn. It is October, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. And in this song, we can show how the leaves go higher and lower, because I believe it is, So we can show that how the song goes higher and lower. Because the next part, Autumn Leaves, we can show it on the body scale. So the body scale is basically every single tone on the tone ladder is a part of your body. As you sing, you move through your body up and down, right? So this video, I don't know, I won't play it all, but you can see how she is showing the body scale using her hands and her whole body. So that is a good option if that will work for your classroom. Additionally, you can make word rhythm patterns with fall leaves. You can always take this PDF, cut it out, have them color, and do it that way. Use it as manipulatives. I mean, you might even go out into your backyard right now and dry some leaves so you can show it and make it a more of an earth practice. It's all up to you. It's all based on what you are looking for. So that is an option. You make word rhythms. So red, red, yellow, red, right? One sound, two sounds. And then sing Autumn Leaves. So that would be your B section, and Autumn Leaves would be your A section. And we, of course, need a little bit of literacy. Not that music is not literacy. It absolutely is in every single sense. But now we're going to talk about a poem and poetry. So we're going to learn the words, the poem Crisscross Applesauce. And this is just the lyric video, and this is the kids demo. So you can see Denise actually doing it in a classroom with other students. And it always gives me the shivers, right? The heebie-jeebies. Anyway, moving on to Listen and Move to Air by Bach. So one thing you'll notice is that kindergarten does not have a listening kit that is specifically built for kindergarten. That's because the listening materials are actually embedded into the kindergarten program, as opposed to the other grades where they're pulled into two separate entities. So if you're looking for in listening kits and you can't find something, that's why. But not to worry, it's all built in the song list. So listen and move to air. This is Denise, and she is just doing a quick teacher demo. Is it fast or slow? And this music is actually slow. We also have an opportunity to make up our own movement to air, kind of like Denise did. But of course, you could use two stuffed animals, you could use scarves, you could use anything that you have in your classroom to create these movements. Still with Bach, we are working on. Alrighty, let's go to the next one. Alrighty, we're still in Bach's world. So this piece is with paper plates. And again, if you're looking for this piece, maybe a variation, maybe you just want a simple listening log, or maybe you want to see if there's a play along, I would come up here and click on this link here. This link will actually bring you to the song itself. Of course, in this case, it is a piece of music, not a song, but you might find some more activities or interactives that you could use, or even printables. And the idea is this fast or slow? This piece is fast, and it's in a contrast to air, which is slow. Alrighty, same activity, making up our own movements, but this time a little bit more fast. And now we're prepping for our last song, which is the shape song. The shape song is, very clearly about shapes. Here I have a printable added to the supporting resources where you can cut out the different shapes, so circle, square, triangle, rectangle. But of course, you can always do it on paper plates or using actual shapes in your classroom, depending on what you have. So that is an option. And then the idea is that you sing and play along with the shape song, showing the shape that you're talking about and using the paper plates as an instrument, which is another reason why we use the paper plates. Okay, and then we finally close our song. And then we finish our piece with Skinamarink, of course, and that closes our lesson. Grade 1, Lesson 6, October Week 2. I've got Musicplay Online already pulled up, so let's just jump into it. Learning modules, you can do it two ways. You can jump into the big, huge learning module bucket, and this is where all the other grades live and everything, you just jump right on in. If you just want to focus on grade 1, come back to the front page with me, and under Explore by Grade, you'll click Grade 1. The reason why I'm showing you this is because over the next month, I will be working really hard on making sure that the learning modules meet the year plan goals and the month outline goals. What does that mean? Okay, we have this beautiful grade 1 teacher guide. Remember, everything in this grade 1 teacher guide is on Musicplay Online. But I don't know about you, but I like, number 1, spiral. I love the spiral bound. But number 2, I like an actual physical resource that's actually linear and has a timeline somewhat, so that I don't get lost, because I tend to get lost very quickly. Anyway, enough of that. So the grade 1 year plan, again, it's in the teacher guide, but it's also on Musicplay Online, just under overview. So I'm going to show you here. Again, if you click that link, it will open it up. I am just trying to use one tab to make this recording a little bit easier. Okay, grade 1 year plan. So you'll see October, and I have some goals to meet. So beat and rhythm, I've got some goals: melody, expression, instruments, listening form, culture, create, movement, and themes. So over the next month, over the next 5 weeks, I'm going to be working on meeting those goals. So if you ever have a question of what we're trying to do, what we're doing is just making sure that it's updated so that we're meeting our goals, but also showing you a little bit about the new stuff that we have been putting up on Musicplay Online, because we put things up on Musicplay Online all the time. So grade 1 month outlines, I'm just going to show you this one as well. This is the other piece that I'm using, again, found in the teacher guide. This one is a little bit out of date because we have been updating the lesson modules and we haven't quite gotten around to it yet. So The week 2, lesson 6, this gives you a little bit more detail. Okay, so hey Betty Martin, 5 fat turkeys, elephants have wrinkles potentially, and somebody meets the boss. So this is my goal for this learning module, and let's see how I did. But if, joking aside, if you wanted to know what we're going to be doing, this is the place to come and look. Alrighty, let's jump in. I'm going to go into the big pot, learning modules, go to grade 1, lesson 6. Okay, before we start, you'll see this big, huge, long numbered list. This list is every single teaching procedure title. So this gives you a really quick way to review at a flash what's coming up. So you can decide right now, is this right for me? Is this not right for me? So if it's looking good, then I would continue as it is. If you want to make some changes, make sure you always copy to my list and bring it over into your own my list area, and then you can do some changes there. Remember that Musicplay is a menu. You're not expected to teach everything. That would be insane, you know? We have too much to go through. So pick what works for your classroom. You are the expert in your classroom, so you know what works, you know? We can give you resources, but you, at the end of the day, know what is right for your classroom. So let's dive into it. We're going to scroll down here. One last thing that I didn't actually mention is what these extensions are. These extensions are anything from those other documents that I showed that we didn't actually get a chance to get into. So in this lesson, I do not talk high-low sounds, which is from the listening resource kit. Listening 1 is also in the listening kits on Musicplay Online. This is the teacher guide version. We have not been able to put the teacher guide stuff on Musicplay Online yet, but it is coming one day. Alrighty, so yeah, if you wanted to do a little bit of listening, that is your opportunity, but let's just keep on going. Alrighty, so we're going to start our lesson with a welcome song. You'll notice that this is Welcome to Music, and it is from grade 2, but a welcome song is a welcome song, so gotta keep it interesting, you know? So sing the echoes, and down here, echo the slide whistle. Again, this is Denise doing it. If you have a slide whistle at home, if you have a slide whistle in your classroom, or if it's at home, make sure you bring it to your classroom. No, but the slide whistle, basically, it's a vocalise to focus, have your voice follow the way that the whistle is going, right? So, woo, 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 right? So that would be one of the ways to use the slide whistle. You can just play if you want, and Denise goes through with the slide whistle and then does a little bit of showing how the voice could mimic the slide whistle. But again, if you have a slide whistle, please do it yourself. Before I jump further, you'll notice really quickly that I have an extra link here, warm-ups. Warm-ups is where this slide whistle and many other vocal warm-ups live. If you're not 100%, you don't want to do the slide whistle because maybe you have germs spreading like crazy in the classroom or something, or maybe you just don't have a slide whistle. No problem. There is so many more warm-ups to try, and yeah, they're just great. So head on over there if you want more selection. The other thing. So moving with music with a ribbon or a scarf. This activity is from the listening kit, again, as I mentioned before. But this is from the listening kit section on Musicplay Online. If you want more activities, again, click that link. But this activity is just finding a ribbon or a scarf to move to the music with. And yeah, it's a little Mozart piece, so that's always a good thing. Get those jiggles out. Okay, now we jump into our songs. So we're going to sing Hey Betty Martin. Make sure you teach this by rote. If you want a little bit more information on how to teach the song or any ideas or extensions, definitely click that link, jump into the song, see all that good stuff. But let's focus on what we have here. So sing Hey Betty Martin, but the game is you're substituting students' names and they're coming up with movement ideas, right? So it's hey Betty Martin, tiptoe, tiptoe. Hey Betty Martin, tiptoe fine. It could be, hey Carey-Lyn, flap, flap, hey Carey-Lyn, flap, fine, right? Um, as an example, why are we flapping? Embrace it. If the students are able to read the rhythms, this is a good piece to read. It is ta, ti, ti, and quarter rest. So, but if they're not there yet, all good. Let's just focus on the movement. This is the kids demo showing how to play that game. And again, it's all about beat work, so making sure that we're good. I just created a new verse. I skipped ahead a couple of bits, but there is an opportunity to create the verse as I mentioned in procedure 4. This is just the vocal track or accompaniment track, and creating the verse using student name, and then creating an activity or a movement. And if they're having a hard time thinking about movements, I have included using the locomotor tool to generate some ideas. If they need a little bit more visual because they're not reading yet, we do have an option for a more visual version of the Ways to Move locomotor. And yeah, and they were all licensed from the Dancing Crayon, which we are super grateful for. Okay, so that ends Hey Betty Martin. Now we review a song that we talked about in a couple weeks ago, 10 in the Bed. Again, this kids demo was made during the time when we were not able to be together. So if you have other ideas or you want to follow some of the extensions and activities in the teacher guide, go for it. But this kids demo is still super cute because who doesn't like a cute stuffed animal? So you can do that in your classroom if you have enough stuffed animals, or you can do it actually with students lined up and then they fall out of bed, right? This is also a great activity, or sorry, this is also a great song to play instruments along with. So I would find some instruments and accompany the song. So wherever you see the underline would be a different sound. So this is also another opportunity to either focus on one sound, like a drum, or only shakes or scrapes, or change it up and then have a little chat about the different instrument groups, right? So that is very easy, very fun. Alrighty, once you're finished with those instruments, now we jump into reviewing Buy Low Baby O, something that we also talked about last week. Buy Low Baby O is a lullaby. So if you did use stuffed animals, make sure so if you use stuffed animals in 10 in the Bed, make sure that you can come and rock the stuffed animals to sleep. It's time for them to go to sleep so that you can go back to the lesson, It's another option or another opportunity to talk about lullabies and putting everybody to sleep. And are they loud? Are they quiet? All that good stuff. It is also a so-me song, so you can show how the notes are going higher and lower with your arm motions. And yeah, because we are just preparing to label, which is great. And as I mentioned, we are reviewing High Low with Baby Low, Baby O. Here, this projectable is included to offer a visual. If you want to do it in your actual classroom on the whiteboard, definitely feel free. This is just an option for you. So these next slides will show the melody and then show how it goes with a one line staff. We do have a staff tool that you could use instead of using this projectable, and it's a drag and drop tool, but this works great as well. So that's just what it looks like all the way. So there's an answer at the end and every phrase is done. Okay, and now we go into reviewing the poem Grandma's Glasses. Who has the high voice? Who has the low voice? I guess you'll have to watch to find out. Moving into high and low and starting to really focus on that section, we do pull the aviary from Carnival of the Animals and elephants, which is the low from Carnival of the Animals. From Carnival of the Animals, excuse me. So answering the question, is the music high or low? Aviary, and we watch a cute little bird drink some delicious sugar water, and then listening to the elephant, is it high or low? If you're looking for additional activities with these, definitely go in and check out more activities. We've just added some really beautiful storybook poems that are with this collection, with the Carnival of the Animals. If you saw our storybook, which I don't have with me, I should have brought, but it's basically the storybook, but put to a video and some music. I would definitely check those out. Okay, so the option is to also print and color this high-low worksheet. This is included in the supporting resources above and is a great take-home project. Playing high and low game. We have experienced a few little bugs with this game. There is a flute in there that sometimes it's high and sometimes it's low. So we are working on that. If you come across that bug, please submit a bug report. But we're trying to address it as fast as possible. And so yeah, so this is a high or low. High or low. So you click low. If you need to play the song again, you'd play the sound again. And the idea is that you want to lift this little stick man up into the sky using balloons. Okay, now we're winding down. So this is the listening to the Somi storybook, Somi Meets the Boss. This is from our collection of Somi books. There are 12. Holy moly, there are 12 books in this collection. On Musicplay Online, they are available as videos, but we do have them for sale in the Musicplay store and as storybooks. So very sweet drawings by Stuart Mannins. And as you read, as the story goes, the idea is that you will sing anytime there's a little melody. The video shows it wonderfully, but you can never go wrong with a printed resource. Alrighty, and then finally we sing our goodbye song. The music time is over. Sad, but there's always next week. October week 2, lesson 6 for grade 2. Yay! Okay, let's dive in. So, on the Musicplay homepage, you have 2 ways to get there. Number 1 way would be to go straight to learning modules. Boom. But you have to kind of sift through all the other grades. If you want to go directly into grade 2 and only see grade 2 things, go back to our homepage, and under Explore by Grade, you'll see grade 2. Click on that bad boy. Alrighty, so now you see all things grade 2 related. This book is on Musicplay Online, but this is where you will find all of that extra goodness. So the year plan, month outlines, classified indexes, any of that kind of stuff will be on this page. The reason why I bring this up is because going forward over this next month, I will be using the year plan and the month outlines to build the learning module lessons. So if you want to kind of see what's ahead or plan your classes around it or anything, you kind of know where I'm going in my updates. So I'll just quickly show you what I'm talking about when I say that, and then we'll jump right on in. So for the year plan, grade 2 year plan, I'm just opening this into the same tab. If you click on it, it will open a new tab, but I don't want to mess up my system right here. So grade 2 year plan. So I will come down and I will focus on October. So during the month of October, these are the concepts that I'm going to try to hit. These are the activities that I'm going to try to hit. So if you want a sneak peek, this is where I'm going. So that's the grade 2 year plan. Now, if we wanted a little bit more detail, I would go over to the grade 2 month outlines. I use these two interchangeably when I'm building. And let's go down to October. Okay. Immediately, right off the bat, you'll notice lesson module, super out of date. That's just because there's been so many good things that we've added to Musicplay Online, we have to share, you know? So this will be updated throughout the year to match the modules that are on there right now. But if you want to take a look really quickly at what is in the song list, these are your 2 songs that we're going to be talking about this week. Falling Leaves, I Am a Fine Musician. We're going to do a little listening because Vivaldi's always a good thing at this time of year. And then probably do some review from the week before. Anyway, just really quickly, wanted to show you what I'm building these learning modules off of, and now let's jump in. So I'm on the grade 2 page, I click learning modules, the learning modules pop up, we're going to jump into lesson 6. Okay, first things first, you will see a huge, long, numbered list. Holy moly, so long. This list is every single teaching procedure just written in a list. So it gives you a really quick way to review and see, okay, I want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do that. I do want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because at the core, Musicplay is a menu. We provide resources, but you are the expert in your classroom. So please pick the activities that you're going to find success and that are going to challenge your students, but not challenge them too much. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, if you see this lesson and you're like, I am totally down to do 50%, but the other 50%, no way. Come up here, copy to my list, okay? This takes this exact module and brings it into your my list. That means that you can do all the editing that you possibly could want, moving things around, editing to make sure that it works for your situation. Anyway, enough of that. Let's jump into it. Okay, well, we start this lesson with a welcome song. Everybody comes into the classroom, which is great. There's some suggestions here. We'll echo a little bit of Somi with Maya. She is a wonderful person. Can't wait to get her back into the studio this year. And then we jump into our first learning song, Falling Leaves. It is the theme of October, so that's what this song fills. And really, it's a song that you should be teaching by rote. This tone set is too challenging, and these rhythms, we're going to talk about half notes in this lesson, so we're not ready yet. You'll see there are some little numbers here, 1, 2. This can be sung as a round. Maybe if you come back in a couple of lessons or later on, or maybe even next year when they're grade 3, depending on the skill of your students. If you want to know more about this song and to dive deeper because you just think it's so beautiful, this link right here, Song Used, Falling Leaves, that link will jump you to the full song. And that has all the material from this teacher guide. So that's teaching resources, videos, projectables, interactives, all that good stuff. So if you want to dive deeper into anything in these learning modules, there will always be a link right under there. Okay, but let's move on. So we also have an opportunity to create some movement with a scarf for Falling Leaves. It is a really beautiful little song. So watch the kids demo to have an idea and then do it for yourself. Okay, and now we use Falling Leaves to start to address the half note. So here we're using the icons, and this activity is from the Beat and Rhythm interactive activity. So if you're used to using just the song list, this is what you'll find. You'll find it in the Beat and Rhythm activity. Let me just show you what that I mean. So if I click on this link, again, I'm clicking on it. Just if you click on it, it'll jump you to a new page. Beautiful, look at all this beautiful stuff. And this is what I'm talking about. It's in the Beat and Rhythm interactive activity. There are a whole bunch of beat and rhythm activities here. You can start at number 1 and go all the way through. The one that we jump right into for Falling Leaves is 1 sound or 2 sound icons. So this activity, excuse me, you select the icons that match the rhythm of the words. So yellow, 2 sounds, 2 leaves. Red and 2 leaves, 2 sounds. Brown. Okay, could it be 1? Or there's this really long one. Well, let's try 1. Ah, what? Brown is the 2, right? So that's kind of the idea of this interactive and this game. Let's jump back to the learning module to get us back and going. I just clicked the wrong link. Just give me a hot second here. Here we are. Going back. Okay. Is it 1 sound or 2 sound? So that's what this activity is. So click on the icons to fill it out, and it is error correcting, as you saw. You can scroll down, and the answer key is below. Again, if you're doing it with your students, don't worry about this answer key. You will see the answer when you get it right, right? So copy to my list and delete. Now we're going to learn a little bit about the half note. So there's a little write up about what the half note is, and there's even more information in the teacher guide that kind of addresses the half note. This is 2 slides, and the second slide is to use so that you're putting learning into context, right? Yeah, so if you want more information, definitely go into the beat and rhythm activities like I showed you. Okay, learning about the half note. And then now that we know about the half note, we can use the exact same activity, just take away the leaves and put in the note values so that we're using the proper note values to read the rhythm of the piece. So that is great. Pretty much the same as I mentioned. Okay, now we're into reviewing a song that we talked about either last week or the week before. So this is Tony Chestnut. Very fun action song. And it gets faster and faster and faster. So it's another really great activity to address tempo and talk about that. The other cool thing about Tony Chestnut is that it also has some half notes. So if you get the jiggles out with the action song, you can tie it back to the half note and indicate where the half notes are. There is also a whole note in here, but you can also just talk about the half notes. So that's there for an option for you. Excuse me. Now, the listening for this week is pulled from the Listening Kit 2 activities. So, listening kits, the majority of the listening kits are on Musicplay Online under this left menu right here, listening kit. This is Kit 2. However, not everything is actually on Musicplay Online yet. We are working on it, but it's not there yet. If you want more teaching procedures, suggestions, ideas, concepts, all that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend going and checking out the Listening Kit 2. These activities are from this book, and eventually they will be on Musicplay Online, but they won't be online for a while because we have some serious edits to do to bring it up to Musicplay Online. Okay, so Adagio Moto, that is Autumn. That's from his 4 Seasons. Yeah, beautiful. Anyway, so this is a listening activity. One of the suggestions is to create a mirror movement with a partner or use a scarf. We did already use a scarf in Falling Leaves, so if you still have the scarf hanging around, it might be a good tie-in. But if you didn't use the scarf, you can also just do mirror activity. What does that mean? Basically, I am right now looking at a camera, right? The idea is that you would be my partner, and as I do the different movements, you follow what I'm doing. So it's kind of an interactive way to listen, but you're still doing something, you know? Alternatively, you can also keep the beat with balloons. Alrighty, we're scrolling on down. Now we're prepping for our final song. I am a fine musician. So this is an opportunity to print or draw and color the instrument cards. These are the 4 instruments that are talked about in I Am a Musician. And then also an opportunity to name the families that each of these instruments belong to. Alrighty, this printable is available in the supporting resources. And now we're going to jump into I Am a Fine Musician. So in the teacher guide, there are teaching suggestions that if you have printed or drawn the instruments, you can show them or point to them as you're singing the song. And if you don't have that, you can also pretend to play the instruments. All these instruments are very visceral instruments to play, so very clear to see what students are doing, and also just fun. So that is I Am a Fine Musician. And then, see, there was an extra song in here. Learn Pumpkin Fat, because it's October. You gotta have a little bit of harvest stuff in there. So Pumpkin Fat is a So Me song, and if you remember, we did prep So Me with Maya in the Echo Sing. So if students are able, have them read this. There's a little half note in here, so we have another opportunity to label the half note as well if they are ready to read the rhythms. And if not, it is just a So Me piece, so hopefully they are there. And if not, teaching by rote. This is a fun game. Basically, the idea is that you want to make the funniest, scary face. Well, you want to make the scariest face, and the people who laugh are out, I believe, is how the game, or at least how this teacher in this classroom played it, which is just too good. And again, as I said, it is a SOBI song, so I do have Name the Notes and Name the Solfa challenge in here. This is another opportunity. If you're only teaching notes or only teaching solfa, delete what you're not using. Make the lesson nice and clean and focused, right? Okay, and now we're wrapping it up. So this is a which pattern do you hear game, but it's associated to pumpkin fat. Technically, pumpkin fat is from the kindergarten music play. But as you can see, this is a hefty, hefty teacher guide, and there are so many songs that we don't quite get to in kindergarten. So Pumpkin Fat may or may not be one of them, but it's a great game even as you're going up higher in the grades, so that's why it's here. Anyway, the idea is that you hear a pattern. Is it pattern 1, pattern 2, or pattern 3? Let's see if we can play it on the xylophone. Pattern 2. Yay! And then we would just continue on as we go through the entire song. So if we scroll down, the final song is, of course, our goodbye song, The Music Time Is Over. And that wraps it up. Grade 3, October, week 2, lesson 6. Let's dive in. To start, we're on the Discover page. You have two options. You can either jump right into learning modules here on the left-hand, jump into learning modules on the left-hand menu, and then you'll see all the other lessons too, all the other grades, do a little perusing, But if you just want to see grade 3, come back to the front page with me and explore by grade, grade 3. If you click on that, now you get to the full screen of everything grade 3. I don't know about you, but I love a hard copy. I use this when I'm planning these lessons. This is, I just love it so much, It has everything that you have in here is available on Musicplay Online. This is just bound in a very sequenced way, which kind of helps with making sure that we're in a straight line, or I guess in a revolving line, because it's all about the circles, right? Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you have in here, and that's how I'm building these lessons in October. So over here, you'll see grade 3 year plan. So click on that, copy link address. Of course, you can also just click on it if you're on a computer. I don't want to leave my tab. So this year plan, you'll see October. So prepare, present, practice for beat, and then we've got melody, expression, instruments, listening, form, culture, create, movement, and themes. This is what I'm using to base the 5 different lessons off of in October. So if you want a little idea of what I'm bringing, this is what I'm bringing. So definitely come check out the year plan. If you want to see the month outlines, same kind of idea, but it breaks it down a little bit easier into the song list. So if you go down to the October, week 2, you can see that we have 3 songs that are introduced in week 2, and then some listening activities. Lessened, this won't be updated right now, but we are working on updating it, and then some additional options if you want. Alrighty, that being said, let's jump into learning module. Click in. Let's go to lesson 6, grade 3. Okay, here we are. So number 1, you'll see, is a nice big long numbered list. This list is exactly what the teaching procedures are. So I'm hoping that it will give you a really quick way to kind of go through the lesson. Is this right for me? Is this not right for me? Is this right for my classroom? Is this not? Because number 1, Musicplay is a menu. We provide many resources, but you are the expert in your classroom and in your circumstance. So please make sure that you are tailoring it to your students. This is what we're offering, and you've got the juice to juice it up, If you like let's say 50% of what's happening here, or a little bit more, thank you, come up here and click copy to my list. This will bring it into your my list, and then you can make all the edits you want. And that is great. Okay, but let's move on and let's see what is actually in this lesson. So down here, you'll see extensions. This is from the song list that we just looked at in the month outline, but also I keep looking at this teacher guide. And it's just things that I wasn't able to actually fit into this lesson, or maybe it's not appropriate for most classrooms. If you have an ORF ensemble in your classroom and you are wanting to add a little bit of that this week, I do have 2 ORF arrangements, Bells in the Steeple and Stefan Up. Actually, I don't know if we talk about Bells in the Steeple at all this week, even though it is a song in the song list. So again, that's a whole song that you can jump into if you have the time. And then, of course, learning about Mozart, because who doesn't want to learn about that great composer? Perfect. Moving on. Okay. So to warm us up, I have Poison Melody with Do Mi So. That's because we are going to be working on the pattern Do Mi So throughout this lesson, so it gets the ears awake and ready to rock and roll. Alrighty, and we jump right into the listening kit. So, Larghetto is, of course, composed by Mozart, and I have all this information in the listening kit. Again, all this information is on Musicplay Online. It's under the listening kit section. We haven't quite had the chance to put the teaching resources in onto Musicplay Online yet. We're looking for a little bit of an update before we do so. But if you are looking for more extension activities or even concepts, what do these songs teach, or pieces teach, definitely go ahead and go and pick up your version or your book, listening kit, resource, and it's a kit 3. This is the kit 3. Anyway, so ballet music number 5. Let's see if I can find it quickly. If I can't, then it's just going to have to be... Oh, here it is. This is an example. I know you're kind of far away, but all the information is up here for the listening kit. It also comes with all of these pieces cut down to... it does come with all these pieces, and they are excerpts of the pieces for the most part to tailor for elementary attention span. Okay, but this is the play along. And we have 2 different sections. We have the A section and a B section. You can print some form cards. I believe I have them linked in the supporting resources, and then the students can show the different sections of the piece, or you can pick 2 different types of instruments. I believe the play along does do the 2 different instruments. I believe A is the sticks, and the B section is on drum. But we're only using ta, ti, ti, rest here, so it should be relatively simple. Okay. Now that we're all warmed up with our singing and our rhythm practice and our listening ears, we're going to review Pass a Beanbag. Pass a Beanbag was taught last week, so we're just reviewing Pass a Beanbag, and you'll notice Do Mi So is back. That's what we did in the first teaching procedure in the Poison Melody, so we should be ready to rock and roll with this. So if the students remember the song, sing it. If they're ready for solfa and ready for labeling, have them read the song. It is only using ta, ti, ti, and rest, which is those are the patterns that we reviewed in the Larghetto in the procedure number 2. So that is that song. So last year, or I believe 2 years ago, Pass a Beanbag, we did it outside because it was during the time when we would not do things inside. If you know, you know. So this is there. Denise presents 2 different activities here. And so I would take a listen before you decide which game you want to do and play those games. My sister's in the background, and she is also great. You'll see her all throughout the site. Anyway, small world, right? Okay, so the next thing we do is we name the solfa notes. This is, of course, the solfa challenge. It works the same on every single activity. students come here and name the notes. So if it gets something wrong, it's okay. You just lose a little life, and you have 5 lives, so you should be fine. So they get to the end, and then they can sing the song using the solfa, or push the play button and hear it sung to them. Okay, so that's naming solfa, note names. This is a great opportunity if you do solfa and not note names, or note names, not solfa. Take this learning module, make it into a My List, and remove what you don't need. We don't need the clutter if you're focused, right? Okay. Now we are going to jump right back into listening, and it's an instrument play along with Viennese musical clock. This is a really fun piece of music, and I think I've seen it done a couple times in concert, which is just great. So yeah, this is a great little play along. It does have half note and whole note, so make sure that your students do know what that is. Luckily, it's a pretty visual play along. Let's see if I can be really lucky. And yeah, so it does show half note being on 2 boxes or 2 beats, so it is very visual in that way. Okay, the next activity, we kind of change gears again, and we sing the chorus for third base coach's dance. Basically, it's all those little nifty tips and tricks that coaches use to tell secret messages to their players. It's a very clear chorus of what you should be doing. It's like dusting your hat and doing like brushing your pants off. Very fun. So yeah, so it's singing the chorus and creating the actions that go along with the words. Bob Schneider does a great job. And this is also a great opportunity to talk about how the tempo changed, because as we go along, the chorus gets faster and faster. As you can see, this is a 1-slide lyric, and you can see where the chorus starts to get faster, allegro and then presto. There's a challenge here that how fast can you sing the chorus, right? And do all the actions without messing it up. But I'll let you decide if you want to do that. And following the tempo, we go right into the interactive. So play the same rhythm at different tempos. And here, again, we use the half note that we already talked about in the Viennese musical clock. If your students need a review of what these tempos mean, these teaching slides, just click this little button, boom, these teaching slides pop up, and you can go through the tempos that are actually talked about in this level. The way this game works, you pick a tempo, the tempo comes up here. When you play, the music plays along with that tempo. If you want to go a little bit faster, again, pick a different tempo. Up to you, and it's really fun. And then we go to play along with Andantino Allegro. That is the See, that Viennese musical clock just really wanted to be played, hey? Holy moly. Okay. Andantino Allegro. Again, this is another one from Mozart. And this one, so this one's also from Mozart. This is also available in Listening Kit 3. Again, is also available in Musicplay Online. But if you're looking for teaching resources, this is the book that you're going to need. Anyway, so it starts with Andantino, which is a little bit slower, and then it ends with Allegro. It is a play along. It's a little tricky at the very end because the Allegro part is very short. So you really have to be paying attention to when is the Allegro coming in. This one also still has the half note and the whole note, so make sure that your students know what that is. But again, it's the play along, so it does have the lines, and Andantino is pretty slow, so hopefully your students will find success with that. Alrighty. Now to round out the lesson, we're going to learn 7-Up. 7-Up, super fun game, but it's also a great reading song. So if you have taught Do Re Mi, this is a great song to okay. Now we're going to round out the lesson with 7-Up. 7-Up, we are teaching a new solfa note. It's re. So it's the note between do and mi. Do, re, mi. right? Now, so this is the song that we use to teach that solfa note. So if you're going through it and you're naming the notes, you could either use the solfa note as you're singing it, or use a neutral sound like lu or lay, so that students are kind of hearing, oh, there's a new sound, right? Anyway, so definitely go through this song. Very simple rhythms, ta ti ti rest, which should have been reviewed many times before now. There's a very fun game with 7 Up. Again, these are the game directions. If you want more information, same with everything on this learning module, click this link here, song used 7 Up. It will jump you to the song that has all this information, really good stuff. But here's the kids demo so that you can visually see how the game is played before you play it in your classroom. And now, just to solidify that do re mi lesson, we're going to play Match the Melody with do re mi. So let's pick level 4A, and let's hear it on the keyboard. Alrighty, I wonder which one it could be, 1 or 2. Have students show 1 or 2. Oh, it's 2. Perfect. Amazing. Next, let's try voice this time.
Do, do, re, mi.
Okay, what do you think? 1 or 2? Let's say it was 2. Ah, shucks. Oops. You still have a chance to click the correct one and click next. If you're playing this game and you're thinking, man, we can extend this, we can have them, if you're playing this activity and you want a different type of interaction or an additional extension, definitely scroll down and check out number 15, which is write your match the melody answer on a staff. So Denise here has it on a cookie sheet. She has the staff, I believe, glued onto it, and she has some magnets. So so that students, when they hear the pattern from the match the melody, then they can go in and write what they think is right. Again, you don't have to use the magnet idea. You could use it on chips. You could even use the staff tool on Musicplay Online if everybody has their own devices. This is just transferring what they hear and writing it down. Anyway, that is the end of grade 3, lesson 6 for October week 2. Grade 4 lesson for October week 2, lesson 6. And let's just jump right on into it, So this is Musicplay Online. There are 2 ways to get there. Number 1 is through the learning modules. So if you click learning modules, you'll get to all the learning modules. If you just want to see grade 4, of course, you can always click and just filter grade 4. If you want to go and find it in a different way, come back to the home page and you'll click the grade 4 under Explore by Grade. I want to show you this section specifically because as I'm working through these learning modules, I am taking information from the song list and the month outlines and the year outline too, to make sure that the lesson is Alrighty, I wanted to show you this section really quickly to show you how much amazing material is in here before we jump into the learning module. For me, when I'm planning something and when I'm building a lesson, I love using paper. Paper is the best. Books, pens, I love them all. So I use the printed teacher guide, but again, all this is on Musicplay Online. You don't need this if you've got this, but I'm somebody who needs this. So that is available on the store for additional purchase, but we don't need to talk about that necessarily. This is what I use. So in this week's lesson, I used the year plan. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So I just went into overview, grade 4 year plan. I'm going to show you on this page because I don't want to leave this tab. But this is the grade 4 year plan. This is a really quick way to see what are we presenting, what are we preparing, and what kind of fun are we going to make, So October, these are my goals. So over the next 5 weeks in October, because this year there's 5 weeks in October, this is what I'll be focusing on. So this is what you can expect from learning modules. So that's one really good way to see it. Another way is to look at the month outlines. The only thing about the month outlines is that they still need to be updated a little bit because the lesson is not exactly accurate, because we're kind of trying to build them in the same time. But here you can really quickly see song list, what's in the song list, what's in the listening. This is the listening kit, if you don't know. And then the lesson module, but again, this is going to change because we're trying to keep it fresh, you know? And then any additional options. Anyway, that being said, let's go back and dive into the learning module. So I'm on the grade 4 page, click on learning modules in the mini menu, and grade 4 lesson 6. Let's jump in. Alrighty, to start us off, let's look at the introduction. So the first thing you'll see is a huge numbered list. Holy moly, so much. But Musicplay is a menu. It is 100%. Holy moly, so much. But Musicplay is a menu. And we challenge you to. No. Musicplay is a menu. We have all of. Oh my god. Can we speak English and use words that work flowing? Okay. Okay. Musicplay is a menu. So I know you see this big, huge, long list, but only pick the things that work for you. Up here at the top, do you see copy to my list? Click it. It'll make a list for you in your my list, and then that way you can go through and delete things that just don't work for you. You know, you are the expert in your classroom. We can give you the resources, but you know what works. So I would highly recommend that option. Anyway, let's scroll through and see what we've got on the plate today. Down here, we do have some extensions. Again, this is based off of the song list in the teacher guide, and I kind of pulled some stuff out because some teachers don't have an Orff ensemble in their classrooms, and some don't have boomwhacker collections either. So that's again for an extension if you have those kind of instruments in your classroom. Anyway, moving right along. First thing we're going to do is echo the syncopation rhythm. We talked about syncopation in last week's lesson. So this week, we're just kind of priming the mind again, you know, getting ready to jump into syncopation. So this is an echo rhythm. So you'll hear it and then you'll echo the rhythm, obviously. I do have an option to make it a little bit more challenging if your students are looking for a little bit more challenge. You could pick one sound for every rhythm type. So quarter note is a stomp, 2/8 notes joined is a pat, and then the ti-ta-ti is clap, right? That could be interesting. Or if you have different instruments, different sounds on the instruments, or if you just need to clap the echoes and that's just what it's going to be, that's great too. But this is just to prime the mind and get us ready to work because we are going to be jumping into some syncopation stuff. Alrighty, so scrolling on down. Alrighty, so now teaching procedure number 2, we're going to also prime our ears for low so, low la, low ti, and do. That's to get us ready to read some music later on. Well, let's just jump into it. Melody Playback was released last year at the end of the year, so I don't know if it really got to see the light of the day. But again, that's why we do these updates so that you can see the new stuff that we create for everybody. If you are looking for more levels, like low T, way too difficult. My kids aren't there yet, not even almost. Click on this link right here. That link will bring you right to our full library of all of these activities. So you still get the same benefits of the activity, but on a tone set that you can find success in. All right, let's talk about how this activity works. So you go start. All right, we have 4 tones. So let's hear it. Easy enough. So when you click play, now we jump into gameplay. Alrighty, easy enough. There are many ways you can extend this. You can have students echo, you can have them hand sign, you can use letter names instead. There is this exact game, but available for letter names with this behind this link, right? But did you notice that it pulsed? So sometimes the pulse might actually be more distracting or might make it a little bit kind of like it's cheating. If your students are ready for the challenge to remove the pulse, go up to the gear icon, click on that, and uncheck enable pulsing. This will mean next time you hit play, you won't see a pulse. It's all about the ears. Oh no! Let's hear it again. There we go. So if you make a mistake, click replay to hear the pattern again. And down here, you'll see the progress bar. And here you'll see that I got 2 patterns right, and I'm on to question 3. Alrighty, so that is how to play that game. And now we move into listening to Miss Mary Mac. So Miss Mary Mac is part of our song list, and it works on the tone set we just worked on. So our ears are primed for it. I have added this little video here. This is the notation video. So you can listen and try singing along if you are at that level yet. There's also a clap game that goes with Miss Mary Mac. Very fun. If you need more information than what I'm offering, please click this little link. It goes to the actual song page, and you'll see all the things. Kids demo to speed up the learning process. And now we read the solfa in Miss Mary Mac. This is a notation projectable slide, so you can have it here and click to the next slide down here on that little arrow. And challenge students, can they read it in solfa? It is using low T, which is not something that we've talked about yet. If you haven't talked about low T yet, use a neutral syllable like lay or lu, or just use the solfa. And as you're going through, now we can label low T. So down here uses solatido, and that's the low solatido. And if you go to the next slide, we'll focus a little bit more on T and then have some naming the patterns. And the last slide is, of course, the answer key. Moving right into the note name challenge, kind of keeps T nice and primed in the brain. And so if you click close, you can really quickly click the notes. If you get something wrong, you lose a little life. You have 5 lives, so you should be okay. Down below is the note name activity. Again, if you only use solfa, copy this to my list, remove the note names. If you only use note names, do the same thing, remove solfa. Whatever works with your training and your classroom. I have also given a little bit of hints here. Miss Mary Mac is not the best song for note naming because there's all these different sharps. It is an A major, so if your students are ready for accidentals, amazing. If not, I would skip this and move on to the next one. Woo! Okay, so now we play along to the Prelude to the Alchemist. So where did I find this? Well, this is from the listening kit. Again, down here on the side, listening kits, all this information is there. We have not been able to get the teaching resources on to Musicplay Online yet, so if you are looking for some song activities and a little bit more information about the piece, this is available as a download and as a product on our store site. But if we go to Prelude to the Alchemist, should be pretty quick here. He has all these really great projectables and that kind of stuff. Okay, here we are. Okay, so down here, this is all the information about this song. I've just pulled the play along to keep it nice and easy, but we are talking about Baroque music in this song, and I would highly, and I would recommend. So for the song, we talk about the Baroque period and also asking students to listen to the instruments and can they recognize the instruments that they hear? It is in the Baroque period, so there might be some interesting instruments in there. And then again, this rhythm pattern, this is the 16th note pattern. This is one of those practice patterns that we talked about for the month outlines. So honestly, it's a great activity all the way around. If you listen to it, you would have heard that there's a harpsichord. Woo! This last year, we were invited to go to a university, and some of the professors came and kind of gave us a little how to around their instruments. And we were lucky enough to have this professor in her home telling us about her beautiful harpsichord. So definitely take a look at that if you want to dive a little bit into what a harpsichord is and so like the feeling of the Baroque era. You know, her harpsichord is beautiful. It has beautiful art. Her harpsichord is beautiful. It has beautiful art pieces on it. Her harpsichord is beautiful, and it really brings the Baroque vibe, for lack of a better term. Okay, now we move back into singing. So we're learning a song, Chicky Morena, this week. So Chicky Morena is from Puerto Rico. We have a little bit about the song. You have to keep it in the context, right? So go ahead and go through that with your students, and then listening to Chicky Morena. We do have an option here to create movement with the song if you are looking for it. But down below, this is where we're going to start actually working on improvising and creating a B, C, D section because it is a rondo. Excuse me. So option one is having the students improvise a rhythm during the B, C, and D sections. I did have just a little concept slide here so that you can go through and play the vocal track while showing the improvisation 16 beat pattern page. For your option two, I've linked a actual printable that you can actually write on and write a 16 beat rhythm pattern. And then, yes, of course, there's some, excuse me, some patterns down below that students can use. And then option three is kind of a hybrid option. Option three is a rhythm composition tool. So using this tool to write your composition and then transferring it over onto paper. Transferring is really important because it works the stem direction, note value, all that kind of like really important writing, important writing skills for music. Okay, and then we culminate with Chicky Morena and people play their parts, whether you're improvising, playing from your piece of paper, or playing from the interactive. This is the time for it. And then we dive into rondo form. So this is still about Chicky Morena, so you can still use the vocal track for Chicky Morena or the accompaniment track. And the slides just talk about rondo form and kind of go through it really quickly. And at the very end, there's a quiz to check and make sure that rondo is understood. So which one is it? Is it A, B, A, C, A, D? Or is it A, B, C, A, B, C? Well, rondo, we know that the A repeats after every improvisation part, so I would say number one. Yay! We got it right. Okay. Now there's a little cup game for Stars and Stripes Forever. Go ahead and use it. This is the teacher demo, so Denise and actually I am in this video as well, but Denise and some of her teammates go through the cup game and kind of teach you how to do it, which is really great. And then trying the cup game with the actual students, this is the video for you. If you're looking for just the music because you just want to do the music with the cup game with your own students, listening selection use is right here. Again, click that link. You'll jump right to all the resources that we have around this piece of music. Super great. And then we end with a little bit of music math, just to keep it interesting, fun, and a little adventurous, you know? So this is very easy. Start to a planet, create, collecting fuel by answering questions. Okay, so top plus TT is 2 beats. And that's how the game proceeds. So that is your overview for grade 4, lesson 6, October, week 2. I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments what worked, what didn't work, if you have any suggestions for next year or any suggestions for next lesson. Thank you so much. See you next time. Grade 5, lesson 6, October, week 2. So let's dive in. The one thing that you should know about me is that I love working with paper. I'm a book person through and through. And this week I used the listening kit as inspiration. That's the grade 5 listening kit. And I used handy dandy teacher guide. This guy, you can find it all on Musicplay Online. But I don't know about you, but I like it actually written out and put together in a sequenced way because sometimes I get a little overwhelmed on the internet. Anyway, this is the anyway, let's go on to Musicplay Online. So we're on the front page. You see a beautiful green background. You have 2 options. You can either dive right into learning modules if you know where you're going. Click on learning modules and you'll see grade 5, lesson 6 right here. Now, if you just want to see grade 5 though, and kind of go through some of these planning resources that I'm using to build these learning modules, you would go into grade 5. This is only grade 5. That's all you're seeing. So if you just want to see learning modules, you would click this, and there you go. Only learning modules. But I want to show you what I'm actually pulling to make these lessons. So grade 5, I'm just removing that filter for learning modules, and you'll see this overview. The grade 5 year plan, hopefully it will open in this tab. We're going to make it open in this tab so that you can see it. Alrighty, this is what I'm using to base my lesson off of. So this is the grade 5 year plan. I'm going into October, and these are the concepts that I'm going to be working on in October. So we'll see a little bit of everything today, but I just wanted to show you where this actually is. So that's the grade 5 year plan. And if you'd prefer to see the month outline, you can just open that here and you'll see the month outlines. Obviously go to October and you have a really quick overview of what's in the song list. The lesson module, of course, is going to be updated as we go through this. We've built so many interesting things this last year that it'd be a shame to miss out on it. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that really quickly so you kind of had an idea of what to expect for October lessons. Now, let's go into learning modules and let's see what's going on. Okay, so number 1, you'll see this big, huge numbered list. This numbered list is exactly the teaching procedure as we go down through the whole lesson. So this is a really quick way to see, is this lesson for me? Is this lesson not for me? Because remember, Musicplay is a menu 100% of the time. You are the person who knows the classroom the best. You are the expert in your classroom. We can give you options, but you're the only one who knows what will work. So if you scroll down here, if you scroll up, copy to my list and delete anything that you know won't work, substitute things, do a little bit of zhuzh, keep it working in your classroom. Down here, you'll see some extensions. So not everyone has ORF arrangements. Not everyone feels comfortable doing an ORF lesson. So that is an extension that's available in Alabama Girl. And also teaching the boomwhacker arrangement. If you have boomwhackers in your classroom, great opportunity to do some note reading and some playing. So Alabama Gal is there for you. If you click that hyperlink, it will jump you right to the song list, to the song in the song list, and you'll have all that stuff there. But let's get started because that's enough of my blah blah. Okie dokie, so we're scrolling right on through. Now, teaching procedures. So, number one, we have a play the melody playback. This is to get our ears primed for what's coming up. This is Do Re Mi So La in F major, which, we did just talk about Alabama Girl, didn't we? I wonder what tone set that could be. Anyway, it's to prime your ears. Okay, the first activity is play melody playback. This is a game that you play the melody and you have to try to write what the melody said, basically. There are better ways to say it, but that's the way I can say it right now. Anyway, Do Re Mi So La in F major. Last week, we talked about Button You Must Wander. I wonder what tone set Button You Must Wander used. Anyway, I'll let you figure it out, but this is to use to prime the ears, to get ready. If you're looking for a challenge, though, I got you. Let's jump into it and I will show you. So you hit start. Okay. So number one, let's hear the tone set. Okay. Now let's play the first melody. Okay, easy enough. Yay, I did it. Now you can go to the next melody pattern, but if you're finding that that's a little too easy and they're just watching the pulsing, I got you covered. Come up to this little settings button, click on settings, and check to unenable pulsing. There's English somewhere in there. Click on that. Perfect. Now let's play this next melody. Alrighty, let's see if I know my tone set. Yay, easy. Alrighty, so there are 10 questions to go through. Taking off the pulsing makes it a little bit more challenging. So if you've got some students that are ready for the challenge, do it. If they're not ready for the challenge, keep that pulsing on. Alrighty, scrolling on down. The tone set's here already. Just kidding, we're good. So we want to review the solfa and the rhythms for Button You Must Wander. We talked about and we taught this song last week. So this week it's just about review. Can they read the solfa? Can they read the rhythms? If you're not using solfa, can they read the note names? This is an F major, but we don't have a B flat, so that's good. So, and it's one page, so use this as the slide if you want. Okie dokie. And to keep it fun and interesting, we do have playing the game with Button You Must Wander. I've kept in the kids demo so that you have an idea and you can see what's going on. If you want a little bit more information, though, about anything regarding Button You Must Wander, this handy dandy link up here, Button You Must Wander, will bring you right to the song list page. So if you go to the song list page, you'll see everything, all the videos that are available, all the projectable slides, all the interactives, all the teaching suggestions, everything. So if you want to dive a little deeper, click on that button. All right, let's keep on. Okay, now new this week is Ronald McDonald. So again, I was using the song list from the teacher guide here, and it has a fun little game with it, but number one, listen to the song, and you can use the notation video here to listen to it. And then I've got the game. I have added the game directions. Again, if you want more information, go into the teacher guide. And the teacher guide is in the song activities in this actual song. Let me actually show you, just since we're here, So I'm going to get into that link, and I come here. Again, as you can see, everything is here. You have the arrangement, the accompaniment track, if you want to download it and do it as a fun vocal-less performance, notation, lyrics, kids demo, even a little video on tempo. But down here, song activities. If you click this, and again, you'll notice that I'm opening this in different tabs. It's just to keep it on the same tab so that I don't overtax my computer. Anyway, you'll see this, okay? This is the song activity that I've been talking about. And down here, there's so much more information than what I have in the learning module. Okay? And again, that's all from this good book here. So yeah, enough about that. Just want to make sure that you know that you have access to as much support as you possibly could get. Okay, we're back to learning module. Woo, play the game. So that's exciting. This is a tempo song, so make sure you use the right tempos as you're playing. And then I also threw in a reviewing the tempo terms. If you click through the slides, it goes through each tempo and their definition. And then at the very end, there's a prompt to sing Ronald McDonald and do it with the actions and sing it at different tempos. If you're ready to move on, we have our Tempo Interactive. Yay! The Tempo Interactive, super fun. If you want more levels, definitely click this Tempo Interactive link. It'll bring you right to the tone. It'll bring you right to the tool, and that will be good. But you'll notice here that we're working on the variety of tempos, but in 3/4, what? It's okay, 3/4 is coming. So this is kind of a review of the tempos and a prep for the next activity. So 3/4, if the students need, again, another review of what the tempos mean, go into here, the teaching slides. This will talk about exactly the tempos that are in this level. But again, we already talked about the tempos in the previous teaching, so it should be okay. The idea behind this game is that you click on the tempo that you want to play the rhythm at, and then you push play, and then it plays. And do you want to go faster or slower? And then basically it's working on tempo, but also working on rhythm reading at different tempos, which is kind of challenging when it's prestissimo and you are rolling really quickly. Anyway, okay, moving on, because I promised you 3/4 time, and here is 3/4 time. So this play along is from our listening kit. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's right in front of me. This is from this product. The majority of the listening kit information is on Musicplay Online, but not all of it. We are still working on getting it all up. If you want more information, I would highly recommend just picking up this book either as a download or as a printed copy. It has a lot of really good information. For example, I just went right to the right page. I don't know how, but here we are. That's called a little miracle, isn't it? Okay, so that is... Oh yeah, it's this one. Okay, so in the listening kit, you've got your teaching instructions and then some ideas on how to extend the lesson. I've added a little bit of extra in here, the learning procedure, just so that you kind of have an idea of what kind of questions to be asking and all that. But it is play along in 3/4, and it is part of this week's listening. So definitely take a look at that. So that's good. And we also talk a little bit how the composer of Theme from Variation of Nelly Corpue, maybe that's how you say it, maybe that's not how you say it. Anyway, he is one of the best known inventors of the modern flute. So we kind of learned a little bit about the flute. Why not kind of do a little bit of cross there? So this is Denise. Denise's instrument is the flute. So she goes through and talks about all her different flutes. Very engaging, very cool. And then a really quick review of the woodwind family to kind of put it into context of the orchestra. And again, at any time, if you want more than what I'm offering, click on this units used, and this link will jump you right to the unit that I pulled this from. And then you'll probably be able to find so much more and match it with your classroom. Okay, now we kind of finished the listening portion and we're back into reading music. Now this is Alabama Gal. So I have the notation here for you to read the music. Last week we talked about the syncopation rhythm. And I believe we also do a little review of the syncopation rhythm in this lesson, but mostly it's reading the music, so practice reading the rhythms, syncopation, and also the tone set. Alrighty, so that's good. One special note for this one, though, before I scroll past it, is that it is 2 slides. So even if you just focus on reading the music for one slide, that is also great because we do end on a half note. And it's the root, so that's good. Okay, and there is a fun little dance that goes with it. So I have added the information for the dance. Again, if you're looking for more information, always go into the song activities, click that link, go into song activities, boom, you got it. Added a little kids demo so you can visualize it, and then naming the notes for Alabama Gal and the solfa notes. And again, if you're only doing notes or you're only doing solfa, copy this to my list. Delete what you don't need. Keep what you do. It's all good for me. Okay? And now we're going to talk about, and now we jump into the body percussion part of this lesson. Last week we did lesson 7. This week we're doing lesson 8. If you want more of what Christian's doing, click on this link, Stomp Loud. Okay? So it takes you through a fun body percussion lesson. We review lesson 7, which what we talked about last week. And then lesson 6, that was 2 weeks ago. Again, doing another review. Ultimately, giving students as many different moves and ideas so that when they come to creating their own body percussion sequence, they are successful. So we have a little composition template here, and it's also available in the supporting resources. And there's a little audio to kind of get the groove on that you can do it with. But again, if the students have so here there's a little audio for the students to use as a backing track to their composition, but encourage them to be creative, to find other sounds, to find other music to do their body percussion sequence to. This is 1 minute, so it's a little bit faster, but maybe everybody loves the top song of the week, and putting the body percussion could be a really engaging way to interact with that material. And then we finish with playing Rhythm Racer with syncopated rhythms. So this, again, the syncopation we talked about, or we didn't talk about it, but we reviewed. And if you haven't talked about syncopation yet, there is a little bit of syncopation in the previous week. I believe Black Snake is the syncopation in last week's lesson. Anyway, here it's Rhythm Racer with syncopation. So we start, pick the cool road. Obviously Moody Avenue and a red car, have to. And you're getting it ready for race day. So we play the rhythm. Okay, so you could either clap it back and then pick the rhythm that you got, or replay it again. No rhythm, which is awesome. Everybody's making the working, and that's how it goes. I believe there are 10 questions, and then if you got enough right, you will win the game. If you didn't get enough right, there's always next race, right? Alrighty, that's the end of this lesson. Learning modules for middle school. This is for October week 2, lesson 6. Alright, let's get started. So on Musicplay Online, you're going to see this nice big green background. You have 2 choices. Choice 1, you go into learning modules directly. So come over here to the left menu, click on learning modules, and then you'll see all the learning modules. If you only want to see middle school, go back to the home page and explore by grade, go to middle school. Click on that, and then you see just the middle school material. On the mini menu, next to the big menu, click on Learning Modules, and it will show you only learning modules for middle school. Alrighty, well, let's dive into lesson 6. Okie dokie, so lesson 6. The way I updated lesson 6 was using this handy dandy teacher guide. So this teacher guide comes with for every single grade. And again, everything on Musicplay Online is actually in this teacher guide. I'm just a paper and pen kind of person, so I prefer having a physical resource to review and check. And that is the way I work. So let's jump in. For middle school, the first part in the introduction, you'll see a big numbered list. This numbered list is exactly what we go through throughout the lesson. So I kind of put it there so that you can really quickly see, hey, do I want that? Hey, do I want that? Oh, this is going to be fun. I don't need that. Let's delete that. All about you. So that's great. Down below, you'll see extensions. These are the two songs, Joy and Fish and Chips, that didn't quite make it into the lesson. Well, Fish and Chips did because that's a triplet rhythm, and we're going to talk about triplet later on, but Joy did not. So if you are preparing a concert or anything and you need a unison choral, Joy is there for you. It also talks about gratitude. In Canada, it's Thanksgiving, which is really great. It means I get to eat a lot of food this weekend. But if you wanted to do it for American Thanksgiving, you'd probably do it a little bit later. Anyway, those are the extensions for you. They are hyperlinks, so you can click and jump to that song, and all that information is going to be there for you. Again, if you see this and you're like, whoa, there's no way I can get through all these lessons. You're like, whoa, there's no way I can get through all of these teaching procedures. Come up here, click on copy to my list, and delete what you don't need. Musicplay is a menu, and I offer you an option, but you're the one who knows what works in the classroom and what your students are excited about. So I would really focus on that because you are the expert. Alrighty, let's dive into this lesson. Okie dokie. So we start with a game. Play melody playback, C, D, E, F, G, or Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So. This is to prepare us for later in the lesson where we're going to actually use that tone set to read some music. But this is kind of a fun, low-stakes way to get ready. There is one thing that I'm going to mention, actually two things. Number one, you'll see here, melody playback game. There's this extra link here. If you click on that link, it will jump you to where all of these melody playbacks live. So that means that if this tone set doesn't work for you, there's a million other tone sets that will. So go on and check that out. Number two, down here in the actual game, if you start, I will just really quickly show you how to play it, but then I will show you how to modify a little bit if your students need a challenge or if they need a little bit of a less of a challenge. Anyway, the idea is that you hear a melody and you play it back on the tone set. Or you hear a melody and then you play it back on the tone ladder. So let's hear the tone set. Beautiful. Now let's play the melody. Alrighty, pretty easy. E, E, G, G. Yay, we did it. But maybe too easy. You notice that pulsing? So you can go through the whole game, 10 questions. But if you want to remove that pulsing, make it a little bit more challenging, head on up to this little gear icon, click on that, and you'll see enable pulsing, ? Click to unenable it. So now when we hear a tone set, alrighty, can you write? Alrighty, so now let's play the melody as we've heard it. Easy. All right, so there are 10 questions, as I said. And if you get something wrong, it just moves you on to the next question. So everybody can still finish the game. All right, let's kind of scroll down. Already last week, we learned the choreography for Everybody Say Yes. It's kind of a pump-up song, and John is great, of course. If you want more resources, please click this link, Everybody Say Yes. So this is the choreography with John to get you right into moving. So that is great. And then we have two options here. I have two options because some classrooms have bucket drums and some they don't. Or maybe you're not set up for bucket drumming, and that's all good, right? So your option one is to do the sevens pattern with Denise, and as everybody saying yes. So your option one is to do the sevens pattern with Denise. She will show you the teacher demo and go through all the different patterns. And the challenge is, can you do it all while listening to the song? Option two is playing the bucket drumming arrangement with Mr. Frank. So again, if you want more information or you're finding that this for grade 3-5 maybe it's a little bit too challenging, we need to go down to a lower level, click on everybody say yes and it will put you over to the instrument song, and then that way you can pick what you actually want to tailor it to your classroom. All right, let's keep going. Okay, last week we did a little bit of work on conducting. This week we're going to talk a little bit more about what a conductor does. We're going to still do some conducting, of course, because conducting is extremely fun and exciting, and a little bit powerful, right? Which is always good. So we picked a YouTube video that kind of does an overview of what a conductor does on stage. It's a 2-minute video, and I did add a couple of notes to kind of discuss with your class. Again, don't watch the video if it's not going to work, but just bring up the idea of the discussion. What do conductors do? Alrighty, scrolling on down, we review how to conduct 3-4 because the next activity we are going to be working in 3-4. This activity is from last week. So if you did actually want to go through this entire activity, I would hop over to lesson 5. I kind of break it down a little bit differently, but here the 3-4 pattern is this middle one. 1, 2, 3, right? So have them practice that. If you want to know which movement that goes with, I would go to that third slide. It's the second movement, and that's in 3-4. We already have it selected, lucky us. So you just play it and conduct with the music. Now, when your students are feeling nice and confident with the 3-4, I have an option to conduct it with Vivaldi's Autumn. I picked a score reading YouTube video for this one because, number one, it's so interesting to see a score as it's scrolling by, but also whoever built this video actually did a full analysis. I'm not saying dive into the analysis. That is wildly inappropriate, unless your students are ready for it. But it gives you another idea of how music is structured, and even if they don't pay attention to it, that's fine. At least you're seeing the music and you're conducting to it in time. So that is great. If conducting a 3-beat pattern is too challenging, I would recommend going down to just the downbeat. That's perfectly fine too. But the 1, 2, 3 for Vivaldi's Autumn, that is the conducting pattern that we'd use, even though we are in 3/8, but again, 3 beats per measure, even though 1 beat is an 8th note. Alrighty, scrolling down to Fish and Chips. Fish and Chips is the song part of this week. It is a 3-part partner song, but we're just starting it. So don't introduce it as a 3-part. Make sure you go 1 part all the way through, and then if they're starting to feel a little bit ready, maybe try 1 part and 2 parts. But for now, we just play the video and sing along. And this is our opportunity to introduce a triplet. So in the Vivaldi score that we just saw, the students will have seen some of these triplets in the actual score as they're conducting. Alrighty, and when they sing Fish and Chips, the 3rd part has a triplet. So now we're going to actually address what is a triplet, So triplet is 3 notes played or sung in the time of 2, depending on what kind of note value it is. It gives you your beats, basically. In the song Fish and Chips, it is a 8th note triplet, which is my favorite triplet, but who's really counting? Anyway, so you are welcome to go through and discuss with them. This is a little bit more work on the triplet rhythm, and it kind of goes through. And again, just click through the slides to work on some triplet exercises and reading the triplet. So this one would be ta, triplet, ta, ta, triplet, triplet, ta, ta. So that would be number 1. Let's try number 2. Triplet, ta, triplet, ta, triplet, triplet, ta. Okay. Obviously, don't do it that fast, but that is the option to practice reading triplets in 4/4, and there's also a option for 3/4 if that's what you're working on too. Rounding out our triplet, I have added the possibility of creating a rhythm composition with triplets. This is another good way to write a rhythm and then hear what it sounds like. The triplet is where music starts to have a little bit of flex, you know? I love me a good triplet. So it's, so come here, have them kind of explore what the triplet feels like with writing different kind of patterns, and it is all good. Okay, do you remember how I said we primed them for the tone set? This isn't exactly the tone set because we are using La. I actually might go back and update that melody playback so that we are including La. But this one is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La. And the rhythms are pretty simple. So if your students are capable, have them read the solfa and read the rhythms for this song. It's one slide too, so it makes it really easy from a switching perspective. Okay, there's a fun game with dollar, and basically it's students sit in a circle and they pass a dollar, and the people who don't have the dollar have to guess who has the dollar. Again, if passing game's not the best for your classroom, there is an alternative written in the teacher guide, and again, if you need that alternative, please go to Song Used, click on dollar, and go to the song activities. That's where you will find the alternative game. Okay, but there's a little kids demo so you can have a really quick look. I'm a visual person, so those kids demos, super useful. Okay, name the notes for dollar. So this is using the solfa challenge and the note name challenge. This, of course, is the note name challenge. If you're working on note names, if you're working on note names, this is the one to use. Go through, name the notes, click here to close. If somebody gets it wrong, you just lose a star. It's okay, you have 5 lives. And then at the end, challenge to see if your students can sing the note names while to sing the note names. At the end, challenge your student to sing the note names. So same activity for solfa. Again, this is another really good opportunity. If you only do solfa or you're only doing note names, take this list, copy it to my list, and remove anything that you don't need to use. Because it cleans it up, makes it easy, you know? Alrighty, now we move into what was part of the learning modules last year. So last year, we kind of dove into doing some body percussion, and this so the last couple lessons, we've actually worked on some body percussion and creating different body percussions. So this is just Christian's next lesson, lesson 8. Again, if you want more information, definitely click Stomp Loud up at the top. There's a little link there, and it'll take you right to it. So you go to lesson 8, review lesson 7. We did that last week. Review lesson 6. This one was introduced at the end of September week 3, I believe. And then, of course, we have a opportunity to create a 16-beat movement. This is a printable that's available in the supporting resources. And then a little song to kind of put it to music, because you need a good beat. But if this beat is not the right beat for your classroom, encourage them to find another beat. There are so many different kinds of music out there, and body percussion works with all of them. So it's great. And then finally, we end on which rhythm do you hear? Triplet style. So if you click start, hit play. Which one? 1, 2, or 3? So that was pattern 1. Yay, great, you got it. An alternative would be to have students write what they hear on a scrap piece of paper. if you wanted to turn it more into a dictation exercise, but we just started talking about triplets, so maybe let's keep it easy and just work on the oral recognition. So 1, 2, or 3. If you got this wrong, that's okay. You still have a chance to get it right. Yay, done. And it just continues until we get to the last activity, which is number 10. And that is it for middle school October week 2, lesson 6. See you next week.